Hello, beautiful legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode 403. So here we are, Thursday. It's high tide, I think. The weather is dry and pretty warm. There's not much wind. I think there's just a slight breeze coming from the ocean side, but in general, it's a nice day. It's a bit cloudy at times, but sometimes the sun comes out and it's quite enjoyable. On the work side, I had a bit of work today, so it consumed obviously a lot of my time, especially in the first half of the day, with the exception of a short walk that we did with my wife prior to her webinar that she's in the middle now. So this is the third day, the last one of that seminar, and probably the most fruitful one as far as I can hear, because we were able to chat for a second as they made a short break. So I'm just now going to pick Julia from school. Apologies, I'm quite tired. Don't know why. That's probably the pressure. That weather is not, even though it's good, sitting at home doesn't make me feel energized. So I guess I will have to find a way to boost myself a little and get some energy this way or another. No big plans for today. After picking Julian, I have to go to the shop because the fridge is quite empty. Well, not empty literally, but most of the things that we would need to prep some dinner or anything like that is not there. So, regular shopping for groceries is ahead, and then I might be able to get out and maybe use the last half an hour of the daylight, but I can't promise it. So again, this is the first segment of the day. There will be definitely a second segment, not sure yet if it will be the evening segment closing the day that was as dull as the whole week was, or will it be something more interesting done outdoors if I manage to get out. It's Thursday, so it's actually good that I reminded myself that Thursday is a library day, because in Donegal town the library is open, the public library is open only on Thursday. So I need to mobilize Julian and motivate him to grab the books and go to the library to, first return them because they are already quite a while at our house. Second, he always complains that he has no book to read because he read all of them and many of them multiple times. So here we are. Get some new ones that you can read. So this might be one of the things that we will do today. I think the library is open until 5:30 p.m. or so, not the best day for me to combine both the groceries, library, and any drop out to the nature. But you know, the time is tight. It's almost 3 p.m. Before we are back home, it will be likely about 3:15 or maybe 3:20 maybe, before I get stuff sorted for Julian so he can get some lunch or whatever. That will be before 4. Sorry, I'm totally wasted today for some reason. And that boiler is still not sorted. No sign of the plumber, no response. So I'm quite pissed. I'll probably drop this recording in a second and try to call him, because it's a bit annoying to not have a response, especially that we were set for Monday. And I was so motivated to get that boiler sorted that I yesterday dug out the manual, installation manual for engineers for that particular heat pump, and managed to you know, decipher the controller and sort out the main thing that I was looking for, which is the proper and correct year, month, day, date, and time, because it was wrong on the boiler. And I suspect that when it has some automatic or something programmed in it, that was one of the reasons that it might have gone off at particular times of the night or whatever. Now it seems like it calmed down a little bit, but still it has those times during the day that it triggers itself every 2 or 3 minutes. So yeah, that needs to be checked, because I suspect that there might be some either thermostat problem or some specific sensor, or maybe even pump is somehow affected. So this is it for now. Pretty dull and boring. I hope to bring you a little bit of colors soon. See you. Segment number 2. Welcome back. So yes, it's a good thing, a little success or win. I was able to get out, albeit it's 5:43 p.m. So roughly about 25 minutes until the sunset, then probably another 10 or 15 minutes of relative daylight, and that's it. Probably, let's say, half an hour to 40 minutes of relatively good daylight. So what I decided to do is to go to Eni Water again, because I wasn't there for quite a while now, and I want to check if there's enough daylight, obviously, if any of Psilocybe semilanceata came up. So basically, in common language, I'm looking at liberty caps. And before you judge me, let me explain. So liberty caps might be known for some people, for others not so much, until I say magic mushrooms. And this should already make it fairly self-explanatory for most. If you still don't know what I talk about, I'm talking about specific kind of mushrooms that contains psilocybin, which is a compound that, depending on dosage, causes relaxation and some calmness. It helps with anxiety. It helps with focus in certain doses. And of course, if you increase dosage, it might turn into, I would say, a bending reality experience, because it does have ability to skew perception. And we're talking about hallucinations, maybe at some stage if dosage is big, but it depends on what hallucination means for different people, because hallucination might be just skewing of the perception of the visual experience, so the bending of the imagery that you see through your eyes or things like that. Or it might be actually changing the colors and just the gamut of colors, and that might be considered by some as hallucinations. Others see hallucinations as things that we perceive or think they appear in front of us or around us, but they are not real. Real in terms, they don't exist outside of our own perception. And both of these things might happen, I think, with psilocybin. Not sure how much of psilocybin is needed to get as far as hallucination with things that are beyond reality and that appear in front of us, but we are talking about higher dosages. It's not what I'm looking for. Many people these days are looking for microdosing. Microdosing is something that probably existed for centuries, but only recently it was called microdosing to the extent that it's popular and it has some form of definition that we can work with. And it's associated with people that have sicknesses or illnesses or conditions related to nervous system, or something that is tied to their anxiety, depression, and things like that. So, or people that simply are so distracted in life that they need to refocus. And microdosing helps with that a lot. What's the best about microdosing, especially of psilocybin? It is not deadly. Psilocybin is not deadly at all, unless somebody gets, heroic dose, gets on a massive trip and does something to themselves, thinking that they do something good, but in reality ending their life. But psilocybin itself is not a toxin. It's not dangerous for humans per se. People use psilocybin for many centuries, if not thousands of years, and probably more. It's not only existing in one kind of mushrooms, and not only psilocybin can help with anxiety and other conditions, disorders, and troubles in our life that I mentioned, but this is what I'm looking for. My wife is a very nervous person. She fights sometimes with certain level of anxiety or depression. Well, maybe not depression, not so much, but anxiety happens in certain situations. So she is using, I would say, certified company to deliver Mexican truffle, and truffles are even safer to use in microdosing than the actual mushrooms that grow over ground. So truffle is type of fungus or mushroom that grows underground. They still have basis in mycelium, which is the proper fungus. What you see as a mushroom, be it truffle underground or those typical mushrooms overground, these are just fruiting bodies. They are temporary, and their existence is only for one reason. They are meant to release spores to help and spread or initiate more mycelium either around them, or if spores are traveling with the wind, it is about spreading mycelium elsewhere as well. There's a beautiful sunset. Apologies for me being distracted a little bit, but it's very cloudy. As you can see, it's rainy as well, and I'm going kind of in the middle of that, so I'm not sure if it's the best idea, but I guess I'm already on the way, so I might as well continue. So yeah, so these are fruiting bodies, either underground or over the ground, and these are mushrooms that we know, but they are not the actual main body of the fungus. You can easily compare that to a tree. So in a fungus scenario, the tree, like an apple tree, is underground, and it's just a network of microscopic little lines and fibers that can be visible for the human being, obviously, if they are collected in a solid bunches. You might sometimes see them if you take the bark from a rotting tree stump or things like that. So this is the tree, the mycelium, that network of fibers connected there is the proper tree. What you see over the ground, or in case of truffles, underground, these are fruiting bodies like apples from an apple tree. So they are meant to be temporary, they are meant to disintegrate, leave the seeds in some format. For fungi, these are called spores, and that's it. They disappear, and they are no longer until the next season or next fruiting situation. You can probably hear it's quite loud now because I got into a serious cloud of rain, and it worries me slightly because, I was hoping to have fairly dry opportunity to search for those mushrooms, but not only I have a cloud cover, but it's wet, so it won't be pleasant, and it will be a bit darker on top of the sunset coming. So let me stop it for a moment, that second segment, and I'll continue after to report on any findings, if any, are done. Stay tuned and wait for the third segment, which happens soon. Third segment. I'm currently, as you can see, it's already dark. It's much darker, I guess, than it looks on the video. But I'm actually going through a field that I encountered red deer stag before, so it's already dusk, so this is probably the time when they come out the most. The only reason I walk here is because I know this area and I know how to return to the car without much issues. But I got wet a lot. I'm just checking this area for any accidental mushrooms, and I'm going to check this dark area which leads up to the road, and then I can return to the car, hopefully. So I just wanted to give you a quick update, and I found just one nice red cap of Amanita muscaria that I will dry up, two small specimens of the wood hedgehog mushroom, and then I think I found also two older chanterelles, which was quite surprising to see at this time of year. But yeah, this place surprised me multiple times already, so I'm not that surprised. Okay, let me drop it and keep going because it's getting really dark and I'm not sure how much of the battery I still have left. See you soon. And welcome back. It's 10:30 p.m. long after I returned from the forest and from any water. I didn't find any of the psilocybe or liberty caps or magic mushrooms, if you wish. I found two small wood hedgehog mushrooms that I mentioned, I believe, in that dark segment when I was recording in the dark, and then I believe found two older chanterelles and one solid Amanita muscaria, which is the toadstool or fly agaric, differently named in different parts of the world, or basically just that characteristical red mushrooms with white dots, which were not existent on this specimen. They have been washed away by rain, which sometimes happen. It was a healthy one, so I took the cap. I am drying it now, and it will be added to the collection. While I didn't find any magic mushrooms per se, the red fly agaric or the red toadstool, if you wish, Amanita muscaria, is one to consider as well, albeit it does not include psilocybin. It has different compounds, is ibotenic acid and muscimol. They are in different parts. They can vary between the specimens, so it is very important to understand how they work, the chemistry behind it, how to convert the ibotenic acid to muscimol, either via drying it properly and dehydrating, and via decarboxylation, which is very important to get muscimol in bigger amounts than the ibotenic acid, and ibotenic acid is actually the one that might cause upset or so-called poisoning in many situations, but in general that red toadstool, although it's feared a lot and people have phobia against it, it has to be respected because it can be poisonous and can cause a lot of digestive problems, but it's not toxic to the point that it doesn't damage anything and it won't cause any death. So it's probably exaggerated how deadly it is. It is not, but it can be poisonous, so it needs to be prepared properly to get the benefits either of focus, microdosing, calming effect, or you can go further and get to the different world, I would say. So more on the hallucinogenic side of this mushroom too. So you can go on trip either by eating it or smoking it. There are different ways to use this mushroom if it's prepared properly. All right, that's it, guys. 4 minutes 15 seconds now. I hope I have not too much to combine all those segments because I have a limit of 30 minutes on Spotify. Not sure. I think YouTube doesn't apply limit anymore on my channel, but Spotify is limited to 30 minutes, so I need to finish it up and combine both. Thank you very much for coming. It was a little bit more interesting than yesterday. Maybe tomorrow will be even more interesting. Stay tuned and see you soon. Bye.